PHU Dynasty podcast. We are back again for a team preview where, Sean, we are right in the thick of it in terms of starting training camp. We have actual football to talk about as opposed to OTAs and whatnot. So we are, I think almost everybody at this point has started camp in some capacity.
Yep.
And there's already been injury news. There's already been players holding out, players wanting to be traded on, at least on my team, Sean. It hasn't been great news, frankly, for the Bucs to start the cycle here of training camp. It's been kind of shit, to be honest. But we do have a ton to talk about, and obviously we haven't done a show in a little while. They're just kind of that classic lull in the off season. But this year we're going to do team previews a little bit differently. Think we, after doing a few years of the old format, we're just going through every player, talking about players that have absolutely no chance of making a roster, let alone even worth talking about. We're going to try to change it up where we're going to categorize kind of these different, maybe different designators for specific groups of players on teams. And maybe I think we're going to have a couple memes that come out of this, at least for a few of the teams, because some of the categories kind of don't apply to that team. But we're going to try to make it work. So
I mean, I was really looking forward to the old format where I would talk about Anthony Smith for 10 minutes on my own team.
Yeah.
But I guess we can do it this way too. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like at some point, how many times can we talk about the same draft pick from 2024? Like, is this the year he breaks out? It's like, no, I don't think we should do that this year. And also too, we'll try to streamline a little bit so we get through more teams quicker. So we'll just try something different this year. Really to start, Sean, I actually was kind of thinking about player news as we get going here with training camp. There's been a few injuries, probably worthwhile talking about, at least a couple from today even. So I think we could probably maybe start with like a Ricky Pearsall, perhaps. Ricky Pearsall seems to have some sort of nagging injury or some sort of like inflammation still from last year's injury. This would be the third year straight, Sean, of some sort of issue with his health, and this is a make or break year for him in terms of having Stribling there now. Mike Evans has entered the picture. Ayuk's on the way out, so like there's targets to be had, and right now he's not even on the field, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be the year where he was going to be able to kind of play more of like his game as opposed to like kind of them piecing together, like filling in like the Brandon Ayuk shoes kind of thing. Because that's what they really used. They used him kind of as like an X receiver last year, and that's not necessarily like his strength as a player. He's more of a guy that you can move around and do whatever with. So he was definitely, I mean, he's definitely on the radar for me in like a redraft sense, or he was until today.
Yeah.
Now I am like, that's like a giant red flag if he's still having issues with something that I thought was over. So, yeah, not great. Not great.
Not great. We had, I think Alec Pierce is on the PUP list to start the offseason, as well as Tucker Kraft. I'm trying to think of a couple other ones off the top of my head, but those are the notable ones where they'll have some sort of
Sounds exciting.
not practicing yet. So there's a few of those where it's like, okay, like we think he's going to practice. Also a couple of players that I thought would be out from longer potentially, like a Pat Mahomes, like maybe slowing into things, but he's out there, I guess, too at this point. So maybe some players being rushed back, perhaps based on some of the injuries that happened late in the year. But
Daniel Jones,
Danny Dimes is another one. Honestly, the Colts have a lot of guys that like I saw somebody post a picture of their depth chart today, and man, is it different than last year. It's not good, frankly. It's really bad. Like we're talking about like Laquan Treadwell and Ashton Doolin as starters right now, and that's a far cry from what they had last year at receiver. So very interesting, but I think we should get right into these team previews here, Sean. I think we're going to have more camp news to talk about in the coming weeks. So let's kind of let preseason get going. Let's let some of that stuff get started before we maybe start talking about like camp hype guys and stuff like that. It's been not a lot of time yet. So, if you will, for each team, we have 5 categories. But before we get into the categories, we'll kind of recap what happened last year for this team and kind of the outlook going into the year as well. So, to start, I figured we would start with the Cheese Fries, and that's a team that, obviously got very close last year, just couldn't get it done, but is reloaded again for this year. Seems like one of the contenders for sure, with a very, very, very loaded wide receiver room. So that should be absolutely a contender. And we're going to start with our first category here. And this one is called the Still Got It category. So this means maybe an older player that maybe the expectation is they might slow down, but you still think that they have a lot to give for this season for a contender standpoint. So, Sean, who is your Still Got It player for the Cheese Fries?
I've got 2. I think one guy in particular I'd rather stand on the table more than the other guy. I'm going to go with Mark Andrews.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was throwing the Dynasty Daddy thing here.
I just think things are kind of lining up for him to just kind of bounce back into the close to top 5 tight end picture this season. I mean, granted, he's healthy and he looks maybe a bit better than the last couple of years, but I mean, he doesn't really have any competition in the tight end room. And I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to be a very formation wise, they're not going to be as heavy set as they've been in the past. So there might be more just pass attempts in this offense this year. So I'm curious to see what happens there. I think Mark Andrews is still going to probably lead this team in touchdown catches as well. So he's just a guy that I think is kind of going under the radar a little bit. So I like him. I think he's a value right now.
Yeah, I agree. It just feels like the target competition, even within his own position group, just kind of isn't there this year. I think he's literally just kind of competing with Matt Hibner, who I'm a fan of, for that, second tight end role. And I just don't think there's a lot of other proven guys in this wide receiver room either. I mean, we're talking, a couple of rookies coming in the 3rd and 4th round. Rashad Bateman, I guess, is still around, but really there's nothing a whole lot changed other than just maybe some more targets for Andrews. So I actually kind of like that as a still got it, more forgotten kind of guy. My still got it for the Cheese Fries is kind of a little bit off the main radar because he's probably not going to play a lot of games, frankly, for this team, given the guy in front of him on Tibbs' depth chart. But I think it's Dak Prescott. The guy just keeps putting up numbers. He was the QB5 last year. Just kind of just gets the job done. And when you look at redraft and kind of where he ends up going, it's in the 12 to 13 range of quarterbacks. And, I just think exactly what you're going to get out of Prescott at this point. He's got the same offense. He's going to sling it around. He's great for touchdown production, which of course is very good for any league, but specifically our league. So of course, like we were mentioning earlier here, Josh Allen is on this team. He's probably not going to get a lot of usage out of Prescott. He's just a guy that I think you can depend on, regardless of the situation. Also could be trade bait maybe for Tibbs later in the year if he can find another option at backup quarterback. But also, maybe you get a return, for that player at some point. So I think Dak is my choice here. Who is your other honorable mention, I guess we'll say, for you?
My other guy that I had was Rachaad White.
That was another one I was considering.
Just for me, I think he's going to end up leading that backfield in fantasy points this year in Washington. Because I think he's going to end up getting the goal line stuff as well as being the pass catcher in that team. So kind of like what they were trying to go with Austin Eckler last year. I think he's going to fill that spot as well. Bill is awesome. He's a great outside zone runner, but between the tackles on the goal line, I think he's not great. So
no,
he more is going to, To me, he's going to be that like dreaded like between the 20s running back that's like not a pass catcher. So
He doesn't do anything in the pass game.
yeah, I think Rashad White's going to be a really steady fantasy player this year for his team.
And it's funny because like that, I truly believe that's one of the backfields where it's the least clear, maybe arguably the least clear. And there's also a couple rookies to consider,
Right.
with Katron Allen and I think Robert Henry as well. So it's I truly think like the top two guys are pretty clearly like the lead dogs for now, but that situation is very fluid and can change, throughout preseason and maybe in middle of the season if some stuff's not working. But I think Rashad White does have that. He's so good on third down that I have a hard time believing they're going to take him off the field for anybody else on the roster right now. So he's guaranteed third down work, and he just might be the better, more dynamic option so that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into a running play. Because I think, unfortunately, Krosky Merritt, with the way his skill set kind of plays out, is very much a tell to other teams. If he's on the field, it's probably going to be a running play. So that's not good unless you're like the Atlanta Falcons last year, where they don't care what they're saying. They're just going to show you exactly what they're doing. So, and now that's the Bucs offensive coordinator, by the way, just letting you know.
Sure
Not
is.
good.
And I mean, the other thing, like one of the biggest goals for the Commanders this year has got to be just keeping Jaden Daniels on the field. Like,
Of course.
having a great pass pro running back on the field is not going to hurt that. So I think he's just going to get a lot of time on the field this year.
Yeah, underrated player for sure, especially in Dynasty, just because he's kind of the forgotten about guy right now. All right, let's move to our next category for the cheese fries, and that is going to be the prospect to watch. So I kind of narrowed this down a little bit to like a player that's on their first contract that probably hasn't broken out yet per se. So I'll go first this time. I think my prospect to watch, it's a bit of an easy one, maybe just because we didn't get to see a lot of it last year, was Travis Hunter. I just want to know what the plan is. Like that's why I want to watch. It's like, okay, like, is this guy actually going to be a useful player for fantasy, or is he just going to be kind of this gadgety guy that literally isn't used enough to have legitimate value, especially in Dynasty, but just at any point during the season, can you put him in your starting lineup? Is there enough volume of anything?
I mean, the first tally from training camp today on 11s was 4 on offense and 8 on defense. So take that with the biggest grain of salt.
Doesn't feel good.
So I will tell you, I statted redraft out already for this year. I think I had him at like 54 targets.
I mean, that's just not a lot.
That team has 4 receivers that are all legitimate receivers,
and they're good. Yeah, it's like who is he gonna beat out? Like, other than these kind of like the problem I have is that he's not a gadgety receiver. He's just like that prototype X, exactly. Yeah. So he's not like Percy Harvin or a Tavon Austin or one of those kind of guys where it's like, okay, yeah, I can see the path to him getting carries and maybe like 5, targets a game or something like that. Like, I just don't see it. So unless something changes where, maybe there's injuries or maybe, Brian Thomas leaves or something, like that's the only way I could see more production coming. But for fantasy, I don't see it coming.
I think one instance where I think it makes a lot of sense for him to be on the field is a package where they are rolling out 13 personnel and he's the receiver on the field.
Yeah. That would
throw him out to the outside. All you need to tell him is win.
Mm-hmm.
And more often than that, it could just be a run play. But
it's a good decoy too.
Right. Like, if you see one-on-one, you're just going that way if you're Trevor Lawrence. But I don't know, that's just something that to me makes a lot of sense because it's a package that you can install pretty easily with him as just the lone receiver on the field in training camp. And you don't have to worry about him just consuming the playbook and being ready for all situations. So
yeah, just a tough guy to evaluate right now based on the info we have, especially for Dynasty. Right now, it's not looking good. But I do want to see how it plays out as we get into the season. Sean, who's your prospect to watch for the cheese fries?
I think an interesting one because of the change in coaching personnel on the offensive side of the ball. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with Rondé Gadsden this year
It's a great
for his
call.
team. Everything that they've done in the offseason says we're going to get heavy and get the ball running, which doesn't really suit him.
Not at all.
So I've got a lot of concerns, not with him and his talent, more or less like how much is he going to be on the field. So it's going to be definitely something to watch for me. I think when you look at and you isolate just like his production as a rookie tight end in the NFL, like it matches up with like some legitimately great receiving tight ends, like historically in the NFL. So it's not a talent issue. It's just we literally got to see him on the field. That's it. So
Yeah, and honestly, like that tight end room might be one of my favorites in the league, though. I love Charlie Kohler too. So like you got three guys that are very usable players in lots of different formations. So it's like you said, it's probably not. I think I'm a little lower on Gadsden than most people, just in terms of just like the initial flash that we had last year was so awesome, and then it kind of just like fizzled out as the year went on. Obviously, there was extenuating circumstances with the whole offense being basically decimated, but there's still room for improvement for sure. But I'd like to see more consistency. And like you mentioned, I just don't know with the personnel packages, and they have a lot of good receivers on this team too. It's quietly a very deep receiver team.
It's like
so I don't know.
Criminally underrated nationally. Anytime I hear anybody talk about like, oh, do they need to add another guy for this offense? I'm like,
where are they gonna go?
What?
Like I don't really know.
They've got a first round receiver and 2 second-round receivers on this team. They're all on their rookie contracts. What?
Yeah, I mean they're all affordable, like you said. Like I mean, obviously this is a big year for Quentin Johnston, but yeah, like there's that team is deeper than any, but like even like running back, they're very deep. Kamani Vidal was very serviceable last year, good third down back. And then you got Keaton Mitchell coming in, which is literally made for McDaniel. So it should be a really exciting offense. Really, the biggest question there is clearly just the O-line. Like we got to get those people healthy, because if that O-line plays up to potential, that's a scary offense for sure, especially with McDaniel running it.
If they get both tackles to actually play this year with McDaniel, I will tell you right now that's going to be a top 10 offensive line this year.
I mean, they have to. They're so good, like talent-wise, they have it.
I am going to be the guy that's fooled again, and I'm just going to pick Herbert to win MVP again. Like,
dude, that guy's so
4 times. I don't care.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think he's like my favorite quarterback that just like hasn't had everything click yet. You know, it's like let's get everything to click, and then that's going to be a sensational year when it happens.
Well, the good news about picking him for MVP is that it's not a playoff award. It's a regular season award. So I don't care about what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah, that doesn't matter to me. All that matters is that we get our fantasy production. Right. So, all right. So that's a good pick there for Gadsden for prospect to watch. Let's go to the next category here. This one's called aging out. So I think this is a little bit open-ended because, you know, aging out could mean different things for different position groups. Like obviously like a tight end is probably going to be a little bit older when they quote age out, as opposed to like a running back aging out maybe at like, 27, 28 or something. Mm-hmm. So this could be a little open-ended. So I think we'll get some fun potential discourse here. Sean, give me your aging out.
It feels like there's one that's low-hanging fruit. It's James Conner.
Yeah. I chose somebody other than James Conner, thinking that you were going to pick James Conner. So
it definitely is like the red flashing light on his roster right now. Although I will say the Cardinals love him and are pumping up everything about him right now, probably because they want to see if they can get like something for him. Which
they have a lot of guys.
I will tell you right now, there are a couple teams where I think it would make a lot of sense to just take a flyer and trade for him, but that's a different podcast. I mean, he's 31, coming off of a major foot injury, so there's that.
Remember when he was a rookie? Yeah, I remember like that first year. He was third round rookie. Gosh, he was behind Mendenhall, I want to say, or like maybe it was like one of those guys. Maybe Le'Veon Bell, perhaps.
I thought he took over for. Yeah, I thought it was Lev Bell because the second year was his holdout, right?
Oh wow, yeah, I remember there was that year that he broke out was the holdout year, I think.
Mhm.
He was one of my favorite prospects that year too. But yeah, he's just kind of like at this point with the age specifically. I mean, if this isn't it, it's probably getting close to the end for him. I mean, honestly, for Tibbs, you're probably hoping for, like you mentioned, a trade. I mean, because at least it kind of clears up the picture potentially for uh, one for Benson, who's already on this team, who's pretty much cooked regardless. But um, it also clears up some room for Jeremiah Love to get the touches he probably has to have at this point with this draft capital. So
Mhm.
um, my aging out isn't really a player that's quote old, but I've never really loved this player, and I honestly don't know if it's going to work out. And in his new place, I think it's DJ Moore. I just don't think it's going to work out. Like there's
Just not
something.
doing it for me, Brian.
Yeah, it's just not doing it for me. Like the numbers, if you look at his, historical finishes for fantasy over the course of his career, he's never had that monster year where, he's a top 10 receiver. He's always been fluctuating in that 20s range.
He was wide
He's
receiver 6 in 2023. So.
okay, so a couple years ago. So at least 3 years ago. So okay, fair enough. And he did get a contract extension, I think, that year. That was his
Mhm.
contract year. So um I just don't feel like, and that was also 3 years ago when he's 26. I think he's 29 right now. So that doesn't feel good either.
He's 29.
So okay, that's good. So one of my facts checked out. I'm just a little concerned that also to this offense, the Steph Diggs experiment definitely worked for them. I just don't know if DJ Moore is as good of a route runner, of a number one receiver to get that kind of production. So I think this is going to be a situation where this may not work out and not return that fantasy value, and then eventually kind of just fizzles out where he kind of just retires quietly, and there's not a lot of big fanfare about it. So not to say that Tibbs' team is not really relying on DJ Moore. He's got Jackson Smith-Njigba, Puka Nacua, Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown. He's gonna be just fine at receiver. But this is kind of one of these guys that Tibbs has had on this team for a very long time. He was usually a good flex guy. I just don't know how long that's going to continue. But his situation is good this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm behind consensus on DJ Moore, but I'm not that far behind. I think he's like wide receiver like 23, and I'm like 29. So like,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at too, to be honest. But I think like the hype though is that it's DJ's Moore is here to save the Bills receiver room. It's like I don't know about that. Like I'm a little like this isn't like we're not pulling in Devontae Adams, we're not pulling in AJ Brown, we're not pulling in like somebody of that caliber, and that's what I think is strange.
all you hear out of that team though the last couple of years is like our secret sauce is spreading the ball around. I'm like, I don't see that changing considering their offensive coordinator is now their head coach. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I don't see Khalil Shakir or Dalton Kincaid or any of their other.
Skylar Bell.
I don't see anybody like taking a huge dip in targets because DJ Moore's there. So like, I don't know. I think he'll lead the team in targets, but I don't think it's going to be an insane amount.
No,
So,
I think that whole idea of having that number one target, if they're thinking it's going to be DJ Moore, I think they're going to be disappointed. That's what I think. So,
mm,
anyway, we'll move to our next category, which is make or break. So this make or break category is basically a player that either has had some question marks, hasn't really broken out yet, like the expectations were high. Like which player on that team kind of is the most volatile, like it potentially next year could have a huge dip in value or maybe a huge gain in value for Dynasty. So I'll go first on this one. Mine on this one is a little bit down the leaderboard here in terms of like the receiver rankings. I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle here. And the reason for that is we've seen him have that very big year under the McDaniel offense. But ever since then, it's been kind of hit or miss on what kind of player we've gotten specifically for fantasy, right? Like it doesn't feel good to put him in your starting lineup, but you kind of have to based on name recognition. He ends up in a new offense, which, they gave up a pretty good capital to get him. So you fear he's going to be on the field, he's going to be playing, but that's an offense too that does tend to kind of change personnel groupings and use guys in different ways and isn't consistent sometimes with like who gets the targets outside of basically Cortland Sutton. So like, how is that going to look? And, you know, if it goes one way where he has another awesome year, he's still younger, his value could go way up this offseason. Or it could go the other way where maybe it's kind of more of the same. He gets injured, something like that, and it could go the other way. So I feel like he's one of these very like polarizing guys, especially to rank in a dynasty or in a redraft standpoint. I've had a hard time ranking him so far, Sean.
Yeah, that's not a guy. The only thing I ever worry about with Waddle, to me, is health. Otherwise, I think he's a stud. Like I think he's awesome. So
I guess like maybe I just haven't watched enough of him to like truly know, but I don't have him on anything. So
I mean, I think he's pretty clean, like easily top 20 receiver in fantasy this year.
All right, you heard. So he's going one way with it. My other guy too, just as an honorable mention.
I am worried that Bo Nix is going to murder him over the middle of the field at some point. That is my fear.
I guess really injury is the problem with Waddle. It's always been the problem. So
he's so small.
He's very small. My other honorable mention, maybe actually I'll let you go with yours in case you say it. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's time to piss or get off the pot for Isaiah Likely. To me,
another good one. Really good one.
I'm so sick of feeling like listening to hype for Isaiah Likely when his best season is not better than the other tight end that he's currently playing with.
No. You know, that's what we should change this category to: piss or get off the pot instead of make or break. That's what we're gonna do from here on out. I love that.
You can tell I did potty training recently.
Something's got to happen. We got to do something here.
I mean, like for the hype that Isaiah Likely's gotten in Dynasty, his best season is 42 catches for 477 yards and 6 touchdowns.
I mean, that's just
man.
That's not that good.
What are we doing?
I mean, there's a lot of rookies, dude. Like Harold Fannin, shat on that this year. You know, like there's certain rookies that have surpassed that in recent years, like that. Like, and somehow his value does stay inflated for whatever reason.
I don't get it. I just straight up think Theo Johnson's a better player than him, like in every capacity. But here we are.
But they gave him a lot of money, so we'll see. He's
gonna
play.
I think that team's gonna be a train wreck this year. But once again, that's a different podcast.
I talk about it a lot, just like with the Giants in general. But that team is literally like the Gen Z. Like, just watch it for entertainment purposes, and like they'll get you 8 wins, and you'll have a fun time watching the show. You know, that's what I've like looked at the Giants like.
You're saying that about a Matt Nagy offense. I'm just letting you know that.
I forgot about that. That really hurts team morale. That's bad news. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm out on the Giants. Maybe how about we take that win total down a little bit? Yeah, not good. But yeah, and I'm a Likely supporter. I liked him coming out of college.
Yeah, it
just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, so for me, like it's like he's like now out of Baltimore, the hype train has officially left the station for him. Like it's time. Like if he's not like every week starting tight end this year, it's never gonna happen. So
yeah, I feel that. And then kind of in that same vein, in terms of like where's the production, is my honorable mention is Josh Downs. I want to see some shit this year.
Oh, it's funny. He was my honorable mention on the last category, was player to watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like he's just like, I think like averaging like 400 or 500 something yards a year at this point for 3 years, and this is his contract year. And you got no Michael Pittman. You got no, as of right now, there's no Alec Pierce. There's no Adonai Mitchell. So like, you're gonna get the outside playing time this year. Let's do something. Like, because I hear, Josh Downs, great first off the bench receiver. It's like, I don't ever want to be starting Josh Downs right now. Like, it doesn't feel good.
And for me, it was just like watching him in particular, like when he's been on the field, like I have no doubt that he's the best receiver on that team. Like,
it's just like, why is it not translating?
Because he's always hurt.
He's hurt, but then like even when he's playing, he just doesn't get the consistent targets, or the targets aren't good enough. They're like, these bullshit targets over the middle. So it's like, let's get something going here, man. Like, we know you're good. Like, he might just be like, he seems like the obvious guy. Like, they're going to have to re-sign him just because, like, but like, what is he going to do?
perfect pay comp out there with Jaden Reed, where he's probably going to get
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's not going to be that much.
Or maybe like
But
the Wandale contract or something like that.
Steichen already had an interview where he said he's going to be on the field in 12 personnel.
I mean, he's got to be. He's
So
got to be. There's nobody who can start Ashton Dulin.
Yeah, unless you're a Nick Wisprecht, Kine kind of guy.
Yeah, there's another one like fucking Laquan Treadwell. Is that what you're going with? Because I don't like that. Anyway, let's move to our last category. Arguably the most important is the X Factor category, and this is could kind of go a couple different ways too with how you want to look at it. But I think this is like basically the player that might be most important to the team's success. Maybe not the best player, but if this player works out, this team has a real shot to make some noise. So mine is a little bit of a softball here, just because I still think somehow there's still more potential, and it's Jahmyr Gibbs. I think with this current build of a team and the running back situation the way it is, as you see on screen, if Jahmyr Gibbs goes down with an injury, we're in trouble. If he explodes with even more touches now that Montgomery is gone, we could go nuclear this year in a contract year, especially. I know he's holding out right now, but I mean, this could be
it's a hold in.
A hold in, which is the new terminology the kids are saying. I mean, you're looking at Breece Hall as the next running back on this team. You're looking at Josh Jacobs as the next running back after that, maybe. So like, there's not a lot here if we don't have a good Gibbs year, which I'm not concerned about him having a good year. He's going to have a good year. It's just a matter of, does he stay healthy? Is that going to matter a ton for this team? Absolutely. If he's not healthy. And if he does go nuclear, the receiving room, the way it is, and Josh Allen being on this team, this is the favorite, basically, if this works out. So I have him as my X factor for this year. How about you, Sean?
He was the number one answer on the board for me as well.
But
for this reason, I think he is like clearly the 101 in redraft this year. I don't think it's close to anybody.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm picking him over Bijan in a lot of, like, in almost every scenario I'm doing.
I think he could clear the rest of the non-quarterbacks by like 50 points this year. I think it's going to be insane.
He's going to have a million touches. It's like any touches that were like, like Montgomery's on the field. I think Pacheco is nowhere near the Montgomery back, like in terms of talent overall. So like, I just don't think we're going to get that many Pacheco touches to take away from Gibbs this year. I just don't see it.
And two other factors to look at here for him this year. One, their schedule is like the Patriots schedule last year.
Oh, I love that.
How easy it is. The second thing, their defense is already decimated with injury.
Yes, they are.
No Kirby Joseph, no Brian Branch, no other pass rusher besides Aiden Hutchinson this year. They are going to be playing in shootouts this year.
Be a lot of ding and dunk.
I think he's just going to crush. So for me, if he's not there, that's like 20 to 25 points a week, not on this team.
Yeah, and that's, when you're trying to contend in this, especially in this league, got to have these kind of guys on the field. Otherwise, you're just really fighting an uphill battle. Good points there. Okay, so that's those are our 5 categories. So now let's just kind of get into.
My other one was Josh Allen, by the way, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean that's a classic. I figured that was like too easy. So the only reason I didn't call that the X factor is because he does have Dak.
He does have Dak.
So like that was kind of the reason.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just kind of like get into the expectations of this team a little bit. We don't have to spend too much time here, but I think the expectation is pretty obviously that this is a very strong contender. Do you see it any different?
I think anything other than winning this year is a disappointment.
Yeah, we're there. Like if you look at the depth of the receiver room in particular, and then the top end talent on this team, it looks really good. I really think the only like maybe question marks that you can really point at is maybe a little bit of running back depth could be potentially a little better. But it's hard to do that. And he's got guys that are very playable. So like, Rachaad White, like we were talking about earlier, is very playable in scenarios where you might need him. Breece Hall, still holding his value quite nicely. Now they got re-signed. So like that looks a little bit better. but he's also got such a deep receiver room that I'm going all the way down to another guy that I kind of considered for make or break is Michael Wilson. Just in terms of, can he do it again? Like, could he, like, obviously he's going to be in a contract year soon too. We're talking about the 7th and 8th receiver on this team being a valuable contributor, which means that those are going to be good flex players for this team. So I think this is just like a really, really good team. And I think they're at least in the top 3 for contender rankings.
Yep.
All right. So let's keep it rolling. Let's do next the Philadelphia Plague, which will be a kind of a different flavor from the cheese fries here. So obviously the Plague in the midst of a sizable rebuild, we'll put it that way. Let me pull up their page here that I snipped. And I want to get rid of the old one. Look at this. Excellent production here. All right. Yeah, a lot of draft picks. Obviously, he's got 3 first-rounders this year, 1 from myself and 1 from Tibbs, but then he's also got 3 in 2028 to go along with some seconds as well. So this team is very flush with draft picks, as you can see, the number 1 ranked team with overall value from draft picks. So this is for sure a rebuilding year. I think we did a nice job like getting the picks, I think, is what I'll say to this team. Like, this, it's one thing to say that you're going to rebuild, right? But then it's another thing to, like, can we get the assets we need to actually have the true rebuild? So this year is kind of truly year 1. Last year was kind of that year 0 where we, dumped off Jefferson and got rid of all the top end guys. And now we're talking about, let's see what these first year rookies like Carnell Tate and Sadiq and Cooper and some of these guys look like. And then next offseason will be a huge one for the Plague. So with that, Sean, let's get into the first category again, which is a tricky one for this team because there's not a lot of older guys, but who's the still got it guy on this team?
I think we just aided everybody down here for this category for this team.
Yes, seriously.
I'll tell you what, I'll say both my guys and you just tell me which one you want to talk about.
Okay, because my guy's like off the map basically.
Romeo Doubs and Jake Ferguson.
Okay, good ones. Like, and I think both of those guys are good to talk about. How about let's talk about Dobbs because I think there's more implications for like the rest of the Patriots, which we could talk about. I think that's a good one.
Sure.
Yeah. Go with Dobbs.
I mean, got paid. He's been slowly getting better. He hasn't like had like this 3rd-year breakout as a receiver, but he's just steadily gotten better in the NFL. And he's just a rock solid quality wide receiver too for pretty much any team. You can put him in just about any spot. He'll be successful. He's going to let them move AJ Brown a little bit around too. But he's a guy that, I don't know, he just wins. He does his thing. He'll probably be like in the wide receiver 40 to 50 range, if we're being honest. But he's just a guy that's just going to be steady. He's going to be out there on the field. So for this team, Dobbs. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good team or a good guy. Like, also could be potential trade bait, as the season goes on, depending on how, how the production kind of evens out there. I've heard a lot of good news about Kayshon Boutte as well.
Also,
so I feel like there's going to be targets in this offense. It's just kind of like seeing now that they have some legitimate talent at the receiver position here. Let's see how that shakes out. But I think Dobbs is just like such a rock solid wide receiver 2 where you can depend on him in the red zone. He's going to be a good outside boundary receiver. And for this team, like obviously he's not trying to win anything here, but like can put him out in your roster, put him on the starting lineup, and it's a serviceable player. So my one here that, if I'm looking at this correctly, I don't even know if I see him on. Okay, there, he's very low on this list for the receivers, Sean. My still got it. Never actually had it. So I'll just put it out this way because I just wanted to find some way to talk about this player because there's an actual path for this player to have some fantasy production this year. Is Jahan Dotson.
We got Dotson.
We got some Dotson. And like he's, as it stands right now, there is nobody ahead of him for wide receiver 2 on the depth chart that I'm aware of. I know like Zachariah Branch came in, but he's like a slot guy. There's just no competition here. Last year was Darnell Mooney in this role. Kevin Stefanski comes in who actually knows how to call some plays. Like, this could work. There could be a lot more production than we're used to for Dotson. How about that? Like, I'm not going to say he's going to be out here dropping a K or anything like that, but I think he could be a serviceable player this year in a pinch, where in previous years with the Eagles and the Commanders, like, you were kind of just hoping for injuries or something like that to even have some relevance. So
I could be wrong. I think Jahan Dotson ran the most routes on the Eagles last year.
Wow. That's actually really surprising.
Not to his detriment, because Jalen Hurts just never looked his way. He was open quite a bit. I don't think he's a bad receiver. My concern is I think he'll still end up being fourth in targets on this team, even as the second receiver.
Yeah, Bijan, London, and Pitts.
With either Tua or Michael Penix throwing him the ball. And we'll get to Michael
Doesn't feel good.
We'll get to Penix later.
Or Cooper Rush. Just depending on how it goes.
Or whoever the fuck their UDFA is that was their starter today. Hilarious. I can't wait for this team to trade for Dylan Gabriel. It's going to be hilarious.
Dude, they're going to, or like Anthony Richardson or something.
That's
like,
true. I was just thinking Stefanski drafted Gabriel, so he's probably going to win.
Oh, that could add up. That adds up for sure. I didn't even think about that one. That's a
once again, I think Dotson's a perfectly fine receiver. I'm all good with that. It's just like, I don't know. I can't see him out targeting Bijan or Pitts in a season, and definitely not London. London's going to have just a bajillion targets. So I don't know. That's it. This whole team, I think the Falcons are going to be one of the 4 or 5 worst teams in football this year. But
yeah, they're not good.
I think people are kind of not aware of the fact that their offensive line is just completely eroded the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten older.
And the quarterback situation is not good. I mean, this is one of the reasons I traded London. Like, I am very worried about this offense.
The vibes do not feel good right now for the Falcons. And like, any idea of them kind of being like this sneaky division contender, I just don't see it this year. I mean, I think they'll finish last, honestly.
Do you know how many games they won with Penix as a starter last year?
Is it like 2? Is it 1? It's not good.
They won their last 6 in a row, I think, and it was all Kirk Cousins as the starter.
Yeah, I remember like Kirk Cousins came in, they looked like somewhat formidable. I was like, okay, like
this, they finished the same record as the Panthers. They just didn't have the tiebreaker.
That's crazy. And I mean, their defense kind of stayed net even too. They didn't do a whole lot. They did a huge overhaul last year, but this year didn't do a whole lot.
We'll see. They kept the same DC though, so
that is helpful.
I'm
all right,
optimistic about it.
There's a lot of Jahan Dotson talk. Let's go to did you do a Still Got It?
Did I do a Still Got It? Yeah,
yes, you did. We did Dobbs. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So let's do a prospect to watch for the Plague. Now, there's lots to choose from.
So many.
I know. I have one guy that I'm not sure you'll pick. So, like, I would go first if it was.
Do you want the guy that, in a similar vein I did with Gadsden, where like I want to see if he gets on the field, or do you want a guy that I'm like sneaky? I think he's going to play.
Let me go with mine first and let that make your decision. How about that?
Okay.
Because I'm excited to see Chris Bell. I want to see some Chris Bell.
Didn't have him. He's about to get cleared though.
That's what I heard, and that's why I think he's more of an intriguing prospect for this category. He's got virtually no competition in this receiving room. This is a trash receiving room. Chris Bell is a legitimately good prospect, a very unique prospect. And the biggest concern, very, very angry over the middle of the field. Now, this is a guy that, like, if he is healthy, which was the biggest question that basically everybody had, because he could have borderline been a second round, first round receiver this year. Chris Bell could be one of the better receivers on this team that just needs a guy to just be something at the receiver position. He's talking the competition is Malik Washington and Jalen Tolbert and Caleb Douglas. Like, there's a clear path for Chris Bell to be something. And if he is cleared and playing, like watching him in preseason with Caleb Douglas and I think Reggie Virgil might be on this team as well. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Like they have guys that are interesting. But it's just we need to see what it looks like on the field, what this offense even looks like. So Chris Bell could really be a riser as we get into the season here, Sean.
My expectation is that whatever two receivers are the best blockers are going to play the most for the Dolphins, because I think they're just going to run the shit out of the ball this year.
Which, like, I hate to say it, but this team in its current offensive build feels so similar to the Jets last year. Like maybe get rid of, the Garrett Wilson. But in terms of they have an established running back, they have a couple of decent offensive linemen now. They don't really have a stud at tight end. Their quarterback is a running, type of quarterback like a Justin Fields was. It might just look like that this year, which it doesn't sound good, but that might just be what they're going for.
I'm considering this as one of my hot takes for the hot takes episode before the season starts. This is nuts in 2026.
I'm scared. I'm really scared.
The Dolphins run for more yards than they pass in the year 2026.
That's absolutely bonkers.
Because I could see Malik Willis running for 1,000 yards on this team.
I just like, what is that? What are we playing? This is like Army football.
You get 22 to 2,300 yards from your quarterback and your running back.
Like, what I do know is that Devon Achane is gonna get fucking a zillion touches, no matter what.
Yeah, they're gonna murder him.
He's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get hurt. Like, let's just accept. I've already accepted it. He's gonna get hurt.
I'm saying though, if you're getting 2,300 running yards from your quarterback and your running back, how, like, are we close with this team?
My thing is, like, we still don't even know what Malik Willis is. We don't know.
He can run. He's fast. He's fast still.
Guy can run, but like we don't know what he can do even really passing. Like we saw some glimpses of it last year, but like, or the year before.
I know he could definitely start on 7 teams right now, and I wouldn't blink.
Yeah, like he has the ability to be a starter, but like we haven't seen it over a stretch of time.
Right. He's never attempted more than 23 passes in a game.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good. That just doesn't feel good. So I don't like this. Like, well, we all know this offense is going to stink. We all know that. So
run the ball, take deep shots. They
have the personnel to do that.
So they certainly do. I'm fine with throwing him deep shots. So I'm with you.
You got Malik Washington. He's fast. Like,
raw talent wise, he's easily number 1 on this team as far as raw talent.
This could be like a 2007 Carolina Panthers run play action team. This could be
run. It's 2026, Eric. It's run play action.
That's true. Run play action or QB sneak, of course. Anyway, all right. That's a lot of Dolphins talk there. So now that you have my prospect to watch, who is your prospect to watch?
Okay, sneaky guy that I think is going to end up playing this year. I'm going to go with Damon Claiborne for the Minnesota Vikings.
He's got a little bit of hype recently, Sean.
Real small.
So small.
Fumbling problems, but he's quick, and he gives them something that they otherwise don't have on their offense. Which,
yeah,
we can, once we get to another team, we can talk about why that is.
Yes, because I think I'll be mentioning said players. Yeah.
So I think he's just a guy that, like, once again, I think I've heard on a couple different podcasts that I've listened to in the offseason that a lot of coaches are concerned about personnel that they have on the field, kind of putting them in a box on what they're going to do. So NFL coaches are more concerned now about being multiple when they're on the field. So when you say that, and a guy like Jordan Mason, who is a quality running back, but in the same vein as we were talking about with Bill, you know he's getting the ball if he's on the field, or like otherwise he's not really bringing any value. So I am just a little concerned that that's kind of one of the problems with their running game, is that it's just one-dimensional. So Claiborne being a guy that can get on the field and just kind of give you something else, I think is definitely a possibility. I think he's going to play. But this also should be a James Conner team.
I agree with that. I think that for the same reasons, like he's interesting. Like he's going to get a ton of run in the preseason, so he'll be a really fun prospect to watch for the category that we're talking about here. But he's got a real shot to have an impact this year, and he had a really good year at Wake Forest. He's a quality player. Honestly, like his size is probably the only real reason he went as low as he did, and it was kind of a weaker class too. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. I'm like there's like a handful of guys that I'm very excited to see in the preseason. He's one of them. Let's keep it moving to aging out. Tough to do on this team, like we were mentioning, because there's not a ton of guys that have any sort of real age. There's one kind of clear one to me. It's Devin Singletary, and I saw you cut him in Galactic as of today, I think, or yesterday. I don't remember.
It was. I thought I could cut down roster enough to pick somebody up, and I couldn't.
You still couldn't get there.
And I felt dumb, and I was like, "Oh, I cut all these players I shouldn't have cut."
You inspired me to cut Mason Rudolph, so I appreciate that.
I really, I can't even remember what player I was trying to pick up. It might have been like Eric All. I was like, "Fuck, I want Eric All on my."
I always want Eric All on my team. I don't have any roster spots. It's brutal. But yeah, like I agree. I think like just Singletary he's old. He's past his prime. He doesn't have the same regime there anymore, so there's no actual connection there. He's going to be a cuttable player on a team that frankly has zero running back depth at this point. I just don't know. Like there's not a whole lot of startable options that are available in free agency, but I still think it might be worth just getting rid of Singletary. How about your aging out player?
It was Singletary. The other guy I put down was Geno Smith, but I have a full 1 hour defense prepared for Geno Smith at any time, so I won't say anything bad about him.
I will say this: if you look at the quarterback depth chart on this team on screen, Michael Penix isn't healthy right now.
He's not good.
Geno Smith is Geno Smith for make of that what you will, but if there's some world where Geno Smith isn't playing at some point this year because of performance for whatever reason, there's only one quarterback on this roster that can play. So that's a little concerning in terms of the tank wars. So we'll have to just keep an eye on that. But right now, you might only have 2 startable quarterbacks. All right.
Very possible.
Next up is our make or break. And this was another kind of tough one, Sean, because we haven't gotten far enough down far enough along in the rebuild to like have these draft picks kind of like be on the roster. So a lot of these guys are pretty new players for this team. So I'll go with a guy that used to be on my team, one of my draft picks that we talked about a little bit earlier is Kayshon Boutte. This is his 4th year in the league, and he's gotten progressively better every single year. But this is his contract year in a year that they brought in Dobbs and Brown. So kind of 2 guys leapfrogged him right away. I still think there's a chance that he has a breakout season and becomes something maybe even for another team, maybe not the Patriots, but somebody, comes in for agency and snags him up. Or he just kind of goes back to his Kayshon Boutte ways and kind of just fizzles out and ends up being nothing. So out of all the guys on the team that I think kind of could fit the bill here, that's kind of the one I went with.
I would just love to see the Dolphins just trade for Kayshon Boutte.
Be a great fit.
They need it so bad.
It's perfect. Just chuck it up to him.
But yeah, I can't argue with that one. I mean, I think he's a good player. I just think roster crunch for the Patriots. I don't like. I think they're gonna have to end up moving him. I
mean, like, why are we keeping Mac Hollins? Is he that good on special teams?
I mean, he's the best blocking receiver in the NFL.
All right, that'll do it.
So he fills a role. I don't see him and Boutte and Dobbs feel redundant, or Kyle Williams and Boutte feel redundant, and you just took Kyle Williams, so you have more control over him contract-wise and costs. So I don't know. I definitely think that a trade's coming because all they do is just keep putting out these great reports from training camp about Boutte just cooking everybody.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. It's like, all right, how much of these are fabricated?
When you're putting like 32-year-old Kevin Byard on him in man coverage, like what are you expecting to happen?
It's like, I'm pretty sure I'll take the 24-year-old. It's like, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, they're setting him up to get value. So
yeah,
I foresee him on a different team soon.
All right. let's keep it rolling then.
I didn't do my fourth. Mine's
Yeah.
Michael Penix for this
Okay,
category.
pretty good one.
I mean, it just like if you can't like once he's back and you can't comfortably beat out Tua, I would be sorry.
It's all good. I agree with you. Just to baseline.
Yeah, solo parenting and you hear your child say something. Yeah, if Penix can't comfortably beat out Tua, like I don't like what are we doing here? I don't know.
I agree. I mean, it's just we're talking at some point like Penix. I mean, what is this year? Technically year 3. So like we gotta start doing something here. The way the Falcons botched that entire quarterback situation is tremendously bad.
Yeah, he's not going to get coddled by a regime because it's a new regime.
No,
so
they don't. And Stefanski doesn't care.
He's gonna have to win it on merit at this point. So
yeah, and like Stefanski knows what he's doing. Like he's a good coach. So it's like if it doesn't work here, it's not working. All right, let's go to our last category here for the plague. That is X Factor. And for this one, I'm going with a player that I think really, like, obviously we're not expecting this team to win anything. So this player isn't the most important player for this year's success, but this player kind of has to work for this rebuild to get off to a good start. It's Carnell Tate. If we don't draft, if we don't have a good, solid rookie showing at a Tate this year, it's going to be really hard because I just don't see a lot of pathways for a lot of these other guys to kind of show that they can be dynasty, high-level dynasty players like the Sadiqs, the Omar Cooper. There's just not a lot of guys on the roster currently that have that, very, very high upside. And the only one that to me that really kind of does right now is you could argue Dart and then Tate. So like we need Tate to play well this year, and he can. Like he's a very polished receiver. He certainly could do it. And I think Cam Ward is good. I'm ready for Cam Ward this year. So I'm intrigued to see how Carnell Tate does because it's going to mean a lot for the future of the plague.
Yeah, Ward much better the second half of the year after the coach firing. He played, I think, the hardest quarterback schedule in the NFL last year, if I'm correct, as a rookie. So
I mean, he was getting the shit out of him.
That should be better. You still play the Texans twice, so that's always going to be hard. But yeah, I think it's just going to be better. I don't love Daboll, but I don't dislike it more than what we had before. So
yeah,
I don't see any issues there. I like Tate. I think he's like a smaller, like Pickens type of kind of guy out there. I think I copped him to Chris Olave coming in.
That was a popular comp. Everybody liked that one, and I like that one too. Frankly, it makes a lot of sense.
But to your point,
contested catch.
Yeah. To your point, Dart was my guy, but him and Tate and Dart were the two that I picked for this category. Simply because, like, if Dart doesn't work out, like Dan's literally drafting a new QB1. But
he has to, and luckily next year is a good year for that, frankly. But with all the draft picks he has, but. All right, so let's wrap up the plague here. Obviously, the expectations are very low for this team with the current roster the way it is. Going to be fighting for the number one pick for sure. He's got the 3 firsts this year. He's got the 3 firsts next year. A bunch of seconds as well in 28. So, this is a team that we talked about year 0 kind of being last year. This is kind of year 1, but even with the draft picks this year, I don't see a lot of guys that look like they're going to be long-term dynasty contributors. So we're really going to need a great 27 draft to kind of kick this thing off. So for this year, they're going to be kind of a cakewalk for whatever team plays them. But we're talking first or second pick probably, right, Sean?
Yeah, probably. I mean, success for this team for me is just like feeling good about your draft picks from this year by the time we get to the end of the year. That's really it. Like, just something to build off of, build a foundation.
Yep, and that's what all the rebuilding teams recently have kind of done. They've had this, a decent first class where they've, added a piece here, a piece there, and then really flooded the positions with draft picks and get the 50% hit rate, and then now you're back. So, all right, let's go to our next team. Keep it rolling here. Let's do the Kentucky Elk next, which a lot more to talk about with this team for sure.
So many players.
A lot of players, Sean. A lot of players. So this is the real reason between this and like the two rebuilders. Like this is why we changed the format because we don't need to be spending
Oh my
any
god.
time on Xavier Leggett. Like we don't need any of this shit. So,
Leggett's gonna play now.
yeah, I mean he's gonna have to. But this team, we're talking about rebuilding teams recently. This is one that obviously has had a zillion draft picks and continues to have more draft picks this year coming up. Has flooded every position with new young talent. Made some trades as well this offseason, specifically with you, Sean, to get Lamar Jackson onto this team.
A yearly tradition like no other.
It is a tradition for sure. But if you just look at this roster, not only does this team now have a good bit of depth here, but we have some legitimate top end talent, which is basically the knock on the Elk for what seems like most of the last decade was this team just doesn't have enough. This team doesn't have enough. Just too many wide receiver twos. There's not enough top 10 talent was what we were saying over and over. And I think this team finally has it. Now the question really for this team, as we've mentioned ad nauseum, is we got too many things here. There's too much stuff. We got to clean out the garage a little bit here. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting couple of weeks to a month here for the Elk because we will be cutting players that will be valuable to these other rebuilding teams, specifically on the waiver wire, and then even other teams. So I think there's going to be some tough cuts for this team, very, very tough cuts. Players that he doesn't want to cut probably, but we're going to have to do something to consolidate down here, Sean. So what's your overall look at the Elk right now?
I mean, it's a contending team as
Contending.
seen on paper right now. But yeah, the roster crunch is going to be insane. I just don't see that many like other than like the bottom like 2 or 3 guys at running back and receiver. Like I really don't see any easy cuts. So
no,
well, quarterback that's easy, but
I think we're gonna see some trades. I think out of this team in the next couple of weeks to see if anybody can add stuff, move stuff around, try to see what we can do here. But anyway, let's get into the categories, the 5 categories we have laid out here. That'll help us narrow down what to talk about for the Elk, I think. So that'll help us quite a bit. Let's go with the still got it category, Sean, if you want to start for the Elk. Tough
this
category
one,
for them.
Kind of tricky because the team's not old.
Correct. Right? Very, very, so, very correct.
I went with Lamar as still got to play. He's 30. He's the old man, I guess, on this team. I didn't trade him because I thought he was going to suck. I traded a running quarterback maybe like a year earlier than you would want to just because I've got good quarterbacks on my roster, but I think Lamar is still an easy top 5 quarterback in Dynasty right now. So,
yeah.
I don't know. He's awesome. I think this new offense is going to be intriguing because it's more under center, kind of like a Ben Johnson style offense. So, really curious to see what that ends up looking like. But Lamar can run anything, so I'm not concerned about that. He's been running pro style offense since he was in college. So we'll see about that one. I'd be curious to see if he is running as much as he has in years past now. That's the thing to keep an eye on because it's him in the past. He's not a high scramble quarterback. He was running in the structure of the offense, and now it's a new offense. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I agree. Like he seems like the kind of guy when he's not running, like what's the production going to look like? And obviously as he gets older, I think he's on a contract year again coming up soon.
So his cap hit like next year is like, or this year or next year is like 80 million or something.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. But yeah, like that kind of tandem with him and Henry, like feels like it might only have like a year or 2 left here. So like, what does that look like? Moving forward is my biggest question with the running style. But yeah, like this team was tough to pick a still got it. So I kind of had to go. I had a feeling you were going to pick Jackson, so I kind of went down the rankings a little bit here, and I actually went to the tight end category here because I like a couple of guys here at the bottom. I think Jawan Johnson,
He was my other guy.
he still has it. The
He
guy
was good
played
last
pretty
year.
damn well last year, especially at the end of the year with Shuck. Like he's legitimate, like startable tight end. I started him multiple times in redraft last year. And obviously they brought in Delp, but rookie tight ends take a while to get going. But he's going to play, and he's making a lot of money too. So I think he's going to play for sure. And then I also think Freiermuth isn't a bad idea either, because they lost Janu Smith in the offseason. I know they gave Washington the contract, but Freiermuth is going to be on the field a lot because this team kind of doesn't really have like a true receiving tight end outside of Freiermuth. Like Washington is more of the inline blocking type. He can move a little bit, but he's not going to separate or anything. So Freiermuth like has actual startable potential weeks on some weeks this year as well. So I'll pick those two guys on a team that, if you look at the average age of this team, is very, very young. It's hard to find and still got it. So that's what I'll go with.
All right. Side note, that value for Eli Stowers is fucking nuts.
I don't like it. It's high.
I think he's
high.
I think he's going to be a bust, and I think he's going to be irrelevant in 2 years.
He feels so Trey Burton-y to me. You remember Trey Burton? Also an Eagle at one point.
Do I remember Trey Burton? I do.
Yeah, I just like I don't like it. I just don't like it. I never really thought he was like the top. I didn't even like him as my top 5 tight ends last year coming out.
Padless practice OTAs, you could not find a single positive like mention from any of the reporters in Philly for him. I'm like, ooh,
bad news.
That's like peak receiver season. What are we doing?
I just don't know where he's gonna play either. Like
I don't know. I think Goddard's like a sneaky, like good tight end this year.
We'll be talking about him shortly. Let's keep it moving. Who is so you did yours, still got it, and I did mine. So let's go to prospect to watch, and there's certainly a lot to choose from here, Sean. So give me. I went very chalky. So if you have one that's off the board, maybe go with that one.
Yeah. Side note, like for the first category, I was like, Kyren Williams, he still got it. He's only 25.
I know. I was thinking similar things.
Feels like he's gonna be like 28.
I know. It's very strange.
Man, who traded him away? What dummy. But for this category, I went with Bashal Tutin. I felt like he was, as far as like where things could go this season, he made the most sense for me in this category. He could make sense in a different category coming up too, but
he sure could.
I'm going to go with him here just because I think, it makes sense. I mean, he's got the world is his oyster. He could blow up this year. It wouldn't surprise me. He's got the talent. He's a complete idiot, but he's got the talent.
Hey, we don't ask questions if you can run the ball, go. Also, like his competition is Chris Rodriguez and LaQuint Allen. Like obviously we're big LaQuint supporters on this podcast, but don't see any of those guys like as a huge threat. And they've talked very positively about Tutin so far. So I feel like he's got as good of a shot as anybody to really take a hold of this job. I went very chalky, as mentioned. I'm going to go Jeremiah Love here. I just want to see like what kind of share is it going to be initially is my first thing I want to see. I just want to see him play, like, because you watch him in college and you can see the talent is just so clearly there. And he's just one of those guys, like with this team, the Cardinals suck. So like their offensive line is not good. I just want to see.
I disagree.
I don't like their offensive line. I think they're mid.
I think it's fine.
Okay, well, fine is. I can almost get on board with fine, but like I don't feel good about it.
The only position I'm not great with is the right tackle. Everything else is fine.
Maybe it's that for me, but it's also scheme. I want to see how like things work out with the new coaching and the offensive staff too. There's just a lot of like variables with this team. I also think they're going to be very keyed in on Love when he's in the game, like defenses, I should say.
The Cardinals are going to be bad because their division is insane and they have the hardest schedule in like of the last decade, which is hilarious.
And their defense is still not great.
But I like when people say they've got the worst roster in the NFL. Like
that's not true.
I don't think that's anywhere close to true.
They have talent.
A lot of teams. They've got a lot of talent on that team.
Dude, you got. I mean, like, say what you want about Harrison. Wilson's fine. McBride's awesome.
Their skill positions are really good.
Very good. Yeah, I feel good.
Respectfully, I'm higher on the offensive line. I think I almost called him Paris Campbell. Jesus. Uh,
Paris Johnson.
Paris Johnson is a quality left tackle. Sam Alu is a good. He's a good signing. Freeholt's a fine center. He's not
Yeah,
terrible.
it's
He's not great.
okay. Hmm.
And then they took Basantis. I like Basantis. And then Elijah Wilkerson is not very good, but he's not a turnstile. So
No.
the offensive line's fine. And then their defense, I love Walter Nolan. I
Well,
was really
he's been
bummed when he got
smoking
hurt.
people immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's really good. Like he's got like Fletcher Cox vibes when he plays.
loved him coming out.
Um, so that I like Will Johnson. I think the team's got a lot of talent. They've got Buda Baker. I don't know. They are set up for failure this year because of that schedule. But um, anywho, I think the Jeremiah Love season is going to be very reminiscent of
Like Genty.
The Bijan rookie year,
Oh, really?
where
Okay.
like everyone took Bijan and like the expectation was like just win automatically, and he was good, but because of where he got drafted, like it felt so disappointing and everybody
Hmm.
was pissed off. Luckily, Jeremiah Love's not going as high as Bijan was when he was a rookie, so
No,
we'll see how it goes. But I just don't think he's gonna dominate the running back touches on this team.
Not with Connor on there right now. No, I agree.
Oh,
But
Tyler
that's kind of
Algier
like
is the bigger problem.
no. Yeah, I just feel like with like when we're talking about prospects to watch, like he's got. I just want to see how things play out. I guess it's because we all
Sure.
know he's good. It's just like let's see how this comes to fruition.
Mhm.
Next category, Sean, is aging out. So this was another kind of tough one for this team.
Mhm.
We were talking about him as a still got it for you. My aging out isn't really like he's not old, like he's saying, but Kyron Williams like might see some dip in production based on Corum, maybe. So like I didn't have a good answer for this one. Another one that I was considering, not because he's old, but like the trend is down, is CJ Stroud. Like the trend is not going in the right direction for CJ Stroud. The haircut situation wasn't great. I just the aura isn't there anymore. Like something's off, and I don't like it. And this is I had CJ Stroud in Galactic at one point. And I felt very good about it, when his rookie year. But it's just I feel like the trend is just down, 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 down. And I don't like it. So those are my two best bets for this.
I didn't have a good answer to this category. I went with Khalil Shakir just because of
That's
like
another good one.
I'm like I like he's just not an overly impressive receiver. He's not bad. He fills a need, but like he's the kind of guy that's like his peak is going to be like wide receiver like 36, and then it's just going to taper down and down and down and down after that. And it's a guy that's either going to clog your roster or like I don't know, he's just going to sit there. You're never going to start him. So it's kind of why I went with him. But really, there's not a great answer on this team unless you're like I don't know. I can't even think of anybody. There's nobody.
Yeah, there's nobody that's old enough to even like consider really.
Tajay Spears because he has one ACL. I don't know.
I thought about that one honestly. I considered it, but he's like 25 or something. So it's like, how do you call that aging out? Same reason for like iron or something like that. But all right, let's keep it moving. We'll go to make or break. A lot of guys in this category for me here on this team, Sean. I got two top of mind. So if you want to go first, let's hear what you got.
I think both mine are kind of a little unfair, but it's just based off of where the Elk are trying to compete this year.
Mm-hmm.
My two, you let me know which one you want to talk about. I went with Genty and I went with Igbuka.
Okay, I didn't have either of those guys, so pick one.
Okay, let's go with Ashton Genty, and I fall on the positive category of this one for sure. I think after this season, I think Genty's going to be up there at like the top of the running backs category for next year in redraft.
Okay, and he's my X factor. Just before we get there, I had him as my X factor because he means the most to this team's like championships success.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I think he is really good. I think he just had no chance last year because I think separating a little further out from last year's team, I think we're going to look at the Pete Carroll team as on the same level as the Jaguars under oh God, what's
Urban.
his name? Urban Meyer. I think it was that bad.
That team sucked ass, Sean. That was a bad team. That was a
I
really bad team.
I think there's probably as much, if not more, talent on the offensive line in Vegas as there was in Seattle when when Kubiak took over there.
I mean, feels good.
So I just
We're on the
think,
trend up.
yeah, I like where things are going. I think the Raiders are going to be frisky. So I like Genty this year. I think he's going to be a stud. He's probably going to be. I think Bowers and Genty are going to be the top two target earners on that team too.
Yeah, I have really high hopes for Bowers this year for sure. But Genty,
Mhm.
yeah, like I mentioned, like specifically just to get ahead on the X Factor thing, like outside of like Love maybe being another X factor here, like it really looking at this running back room in particular, we got the kind of the steady Eddie Kyron Williams where you kind of feel like you know what you're going to get out of him for the most part, maybe a little dip based on previous years. But Genty, Love, and Bashal Tootin are all in some way a question mark, some more than others, as to what they're going to do this season. Like obviously the ups or the long term trajectory for Love and Genty is fantastic, but for this year, we need Genty to hit to win the championship this year. I think with the rest of the team the way it is. So.
And real quick, the reason I put Egbuka in this category for me is not because I think he's going to be bad. It's because this year, are we going to establish that you're going to be like an elite receiver year over year? Or are you just going to be a consistent, like solid wide receiver too?
Sure.
Because he showed both of those things last year.
Absolutely.
And granted, the second half of the year was just injury plagued for him and Baker. So there's a lot to explain away. But I'm very curious to see how things go this year because even if they're both healthy, Godwin's removed further away from that injury. They've got other receivers on this team as well that are healthy. So I could see it going either way, and like it wouldn't surprise me either way. But
I feel like the whole Bucks receiving room is make or break. Like literally, like everybody. Like you even go down to McMillan. Like he's going to be in year 3 this year. Year 4 is contract year next year. Like Godwin maybe isn't the same player anymore. Like we really don't know.
Respectfully, I think this team would make a lot more sense if Godwin wasn't on it, like from a receiver group.
Yeah.
I feel bad for saying that, but
no, it's true though. It'd be better off just to see what you got with like Hurst and Tez Johnson in the slot and like some different looks than we're used to seeing for the last, like I said, I hate to say it, but for the last 6, 7, 8 years with Evans Godwin, we kind of knew what we had.
Is there a scenario where Godwin looks like pretty good the first few weeks and like Spytech just calls up and trades for him? I don't know what that contract situation is like. I don't know if that's just like a poison pill you're trading for. Like, is it bad?
Yeah, that's a great question that I feel like is worth looking up. Like Chris, I want to see when the out is on that contract, but he's like one of those guys that he's just been such like a stand-up guy for the community and all that stuff. Like it would be really surprising to see them move on from him.
It could be forced by him. You never know. Mike Evans left.
He's got a potential out after this season, but we would eat 16 mil of dead cap, so that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So we probably got him into next year.
Okay.
At a $29 million cap hit. Oh, it hurts. So it's going to be interesting, but like, there's certainly I will say that for the Bucks, I don't remember a time where our receiver room was as deep as I feel as it is right now. Like, I feel like we have a lot of like very solid options. If an injury were to happen, like we're not toast, like it feels pretty good to be in the spot that they're at. So, okay. So make or break for me. I had 2 guys. I'm really going to just kind of pin it down to one. I have another one just because I just always thought the player was overrated. So we'll start with the first one, Xavier Worthy. We got to do something. Piss it off the spot. It's time.
I thought he was closer to a cut candidate for this team than he was.
He is, Sean. He's done nothing. He's had 2 years. He's done absolutely nothing.
If you're making me pick between him and Rashid Shaheed, it is not close.
That's the other guy I'm going to talk about, Sean, is Rashid Shaheed. Where is the production? He's always hurt. Let's do something here. For the amount of talk that the guy has gotten over the last 5 years now, 4 years, whatever, I just like it is never translated to great fantasy production. Like, sure, he's a great speed demon receiver, perfect field stretcher, but those guys have a really hard time translating to consistent fantasy production. So, like, his 3,500 feels fine, but it's like, when are you starting Rashid Shaheed and feeling good about it, especially on this team?
Oh, off the rails for the return points.
Oh, I love off the great rebuttal off the rails. He might go 2 overall.
Right behind
yeah,
Chimmy
like
or
this.
DK.
Yes. Oh man, Chimiri. I want to see how high he goes this year. He's gonna just blow the doors off the place. He might go like second round. He might go second round.
I was so happy to see that league looking back. I love that league.
Yeah, that one. It's about that time to get that thing fired up again. So, but yeah, so my 2 for make or break are both Rashid Shaheed and Xavier Worthy. Rashid Shaheed, more that he's got the opportunity, he's got the contract. Like, let's see it now. Like, let's see you put it all together. And then for Worthy, you're a first round pick, dude. We gotta do something here, because it's just not enough.
Other hot take right now, he will get outproduced by Cyrus Allen this year.
Dude, like, I haven't heard a single. What buzz have you heard from Xavier Worthy at all over the last, like, maybe year and a half? I feel like I haven't heard anything positive.
I think I heard like he looked fast at OTAs without pads on, which
great. We knew that. He ran a 4.2 whatever. Like, of course he's fast, but like, what else can you do? So he's a tricky one. All right. So I had Ashton Jennings, my X Factor. Who did you have?
My 2 were Love and Neighbors. So whichever one you want to talk about. We haven't talked about Neighbors yet.
Yeah, let's go with Neighbors then.
I just think, like, if he wants to win this year, I think Neighbors needs to be that guy, and we'll see how it goes. He's not on the pup, so it really just comes down to, like, how healthy is he going to be, and how fast is he going to get that healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I just want it. Like, I think he's underpriced in redraft a little bit, because, like, how often do you see guys dominate like he did and have the movement skills he did and look as good as he did, frankly, in that first year, that you're going to be able to get, basically a wide receiver 1 level talent, maybe in the 3rd round or whatever the heck it is this year. I don't even know what it is, but it's lower than I was expecting.
I have him statted out for a 13 game season and a 17 game season as of right now.
I think that's fair.
On the same side. And the 17 game pace, I think he was in that, like, Nico Collins, like Drake London category for me, like the fringe, like end of wide receiver, like top 10.
Yeah, like 7 to 10 or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere there.
I mean, that feels pretty damn good, especially where he's going in the draft. So, all right. So the Elk look like a contender. I mean, if things kind of break the right way with the young guys, like a good year from Genty, obviously, if Love can kind of get going and show some production, Bashal Tutin, if he has the year that he's capable of, obviously looking at the receivers, I think an uptick of production probably for Devontae Smith with AJ Brown gone, Emeka Egbuka, if he kind of hits that good side of Sean's make or break, that looks nice. Olave looks nice. This team has a lot of really good players, really, like, a lot of good players. And depth is not the problem on this team. The real problem is going to be figuring out what to do with some of these depth guys. Cause, like we were talking about, Xavier Worthy is borderline a cut candidate right now. And he's, like, you can't cut him probably on value alone, but somebody might be looking to trade for guys like these. So it should be interesting to see what happens here. All right, Sean, do you want to do one more maybe, or are you still good?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll keep rolling. Okay, I will let you choose the next team, Sean, because I've chosen the first 3 teams.
Just,
do you want to meme it up, or do you want to?
Yeah, it'll be a quick one. Let's do the Muskrats.
All right, let's do the Muskrats. So obviously, Muskrats rebuilding. Not a lot of. Well, actually, you know what, Sean? I'm going to let you give the summary while I pull up the Muskrats page here.
Oh boy, well, it's not good. I'll tell you that. This team is clawing its way back to a new rebuild, but the problem is that there were no quality picks coming into this year, so it's going to be another rough go coming into this season. There's a couple bright spots that we're going to talk about here, but it's all on to 2027.
Yeah, and he's got 2 first-round picks in 27. Luckily, he has his own this time, which is helpful. And then he has Scavelli's, which Could get into the higher range depending on how things play out. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But no real extra picks in 28 in the first round. A couple of seconds sprinkled in, but we don't have that same flood of picks that we saw on the Plague or the Elk, even for that matter. So it's going to be a lot harder for this team to kind of have their lottery tickets at these top guys for next year and the year after. So it's going to be imperative that some of the guys on the team now on his current roster got to hit, and then we really got to hit on our picks the next couple of years to get this team even in the discussion again for the playoffs. So at least that's my opinion. So we can start it off with a category that I thought was very challenging, is the still got it category for this team. I think there might be like a couple of like softball-y kind of guys, but I went with the meme guy. So I'll let you go first.
I went with Pat Mahomes just because,
yeah,
he's the only older guy, really.
Yeah, who else? I really couldn't find another guy.
I know how much you hate him, but Chig would probably be just by his service years, might be the other guy.
No, that's fair.
Did he ever get it?
Well, that was my argument with Jahan Dotson, right? It's he's an older guy, but he's actually got a legitimate pathway this year. So Chig is an interesting one too. But yeah, Mahomes is the obvious choice here. I actually had him in my aging out category, and not so much that he's gonna fall off a cliff or anything like that. But Patrick Mahomes is 30 now. It's not like he's had a couple injuries, especially the knee injury this last year. I'm interested to see if the rushing, the scrambling, the magician-like stuff, if that declines at all over the next couple of years, because we've seen some bang up injuries and some knee stuff, and maybe they'll preserve him a little bit more and maybe not force him to make so many plays crazy wise, but also at the same time, that's kind of what he's good at and what he's known for. So it's hard.
The only consistent successful play that they've had in the last couple of years against man coverage is Patrick Mahomes scrambling. Is the only thing that has been
pretty insane.
All of their receivers have been terrible. Rashee Rice might be the worst receiver against man coverage in the NFL.
No, he's literally just mesh.
Yeah.
That's his job.
That's it. So it is so important that they can actually run the ball this year, which I am mixed on. I think they'll be able to get explosive, but I'm not as high as everybody else on this offensive line. I think it's just mid.
Average at best.
So I think Trey Smith is maybe the most overrated offensive lineman in the NFL. But
making a lot of money too.
He sure is. I can't believe they picked him over Tooney. Worked out for him, didn't it? Oh wait, Tooney won the inaugural Protector of the Year. It's great. So it is imperative that they're able to run the ball this year, because expecting Patrick Mahomes off of an ACL to save you on third down I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and
the reason I'm jokingly saying that Cyrus Allen is important, because he can win against man coverage.
They just don't have it's Tyquan Thornton's not doing it. Xavier Worthy clearly can't do it.
No,
Rashee Rice can't do it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And that, it's not so much that obviously Patrick Mahomes is declining. That's not what I'm saying. But in terms of fantasy and dynasty value to some extent, he's not. The last 2 years, I think he was QB 11 and 11 before that. So it's. I don't know if we're going to see the QB 2, the QB 1 type production from him maybe ever again. It's not out of the question. I'm not going to bet against it, but it's possible that we kind of settle into this maybe 7 to 12 range, as his career goes on.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to say that a year after Stafford was QB2.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
It's coming at some point. He's just so devoid of talent on the offensive side of the ball now that Kelsey's older. There's just not much there. So
no,
I don't know. I get what you're saying, but yeah, he's still Patrick Mahomes. He's still amazing.
Yeah, I would still love to have him on my team. We'll put it that way. All All right, so that was I had him in my aging out category because frankly I don't have any other options. So that was kind of the one I was going with. For still got it. This has got to be the worst still got it I've got on this board. And the fact that I'm even remotely talking about him is a meme in and of itself. Is Treylon Burks? He's in the mix. He might play. Like of course he never had it, but the fact that we're even still talking about him to me is a win. Like we're talking about a guy that literally was nowhere to be found for the last 5 years. That awful draft pick, and we're talking about a guy who's actually like somewhat near the depth chart. Because if you look past Terry McLaurin, this team does not have a lot of options. I have one of the guys as kind of one of my prospect to watch kind of guys, but I just don't feel that there's like, we're talking Diami Brown, we're talking Treylon Burks, we're talking Antonio Williams, we're talking like, it's just nothing special outside of Terry. So like he could play, and he looked halfway decent when he did play last year.
Yeah, it's just in 6 weeks when it's Terry, Stephon Diggs, and Brandon Ayuk at receiver on this team. I don't know.
What a shit show. I'm going to say right here, Brandon Ayuk's not playing again. I don't think he's ever going to play again. And I'll take anything. Any asset you got, I'll take it. What do you got?
And one other thing I'll tell you, if I'm taking Antonio Williams is probably the right answer, but if I'm taking a sleeper receiver on this team, give me Luke McCaffrey.
And that's another guy. Like I don't have any faith in that. I don't have.
He had he had 2 or 3 solid games in a row before he got hurt last year, and I was like, oh, he's doing it.
I mean, people were definitely talking about him as like one of those sleeper guys last year. So anyway, yeah, I don't really have a good answer for still got it, so I figured like let's get a guy that maybe we thought had it at one point and just does not have it, and now he might have something at least to cling on to.
All right.
How about you?
Mine was Mahomes, so we can.
Oh, sorry, we went with Mahomes. Okay, so let's go to prospect to watch then for you.
Yeah, I went with the low hanging fruit is Burden, but like Burden's going to come up later. So I went with Jaden Higgins.
I also had Jaden Higgins was my answer here.
Coming into year 2, like what's it going to look like? I think it'll help. I think this offense is going to be better generally this year.
Has to.
I think the offensive line is actually not atrocious. I think it's
not
fine.
Ass, yeah.
So we'll see there. I love Keelan Rutledge. Fucking love Keelan
Rutledge. Dude, you don't have to talk. I love Keelan Rutledge. Talk about a junkyard dog. Like that's a guy that you would see outside the Bills Super Gas on all 19. Be like, let's get that guy on the field.
Dude,
like that's
him and Ed Ingram coming for you in the run game. I'm excited about that.
There's nothing I love more than a phone booth guard that kicks someone's ass. I love it. Every year there's like 1 or 2 guys that come out of the draft and I'm like, yeah, that's my guy. Like I love Shaq Mason a while back. And then who was that really short guy that ended up on the Rams?
He's on the Eagles. He's on the practice squad now.
Correct. Well, who was that? What was that guy's name? He's like 5'11", 280 or something.
Yeah, he went to UNC.
Sure did. We're gonna all right. Quick tangent here for the PhD podcast. I'm gonna look it up. UNC short guard. How about that?
Damn, man.
Oh, I got it.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Great name. Fucking awesome name.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Willie Lampkin.
Willie Lampkin.
Our guy Willie Lampkin.
Love Willie Lampkin.
We love Willie Lampkin. Yeah, those are my favorite kind of like. I love phone booth guards that are just like stubby and just kick ass. Like those just are the best. Anyway, yes, Jaden Higgins.
About Jaden Higgins, like he's gonna have the runway to be as successful as he wants to be because Nico Collins is just gonna draw all the attention. So he's gonna be open. Well, he's gonna have opportunities to be open. So we'll see. He's a quality.
Good player. At times last year.
I liked both of the receivers they took last year. So I just think Higgins is the guy that they're putting on the field right now, even though technically I had Jalen Noel ahead of him, but it's fine.
It's okay. I didn't even remember that he was on Dan's team. I forgot that he was. I traded.
Yeah,
part of that trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and who is your aging out, Sean, on this one? Because I had, like I said, there's really like nobody, but he's laughing, so it's got to be good.
I put LOL Carson Beck.
Oh man,
because he's so old.
He's very old, and he stinks.
His shoulder's 40.
Dude, his shoulder's like Drew Brees at the end of his career already. Dude, I remember seeing some passes in that natty where it just looked like the ball wasn't going anywhere. It was just like the ball was just dead coming off his arm. And I was like, that doesn't look like an NFL quarterback at all. And then he goes in the third round, and we blew party poppers, Sean. We had lots of party poppers for that one.
Oh my God.
Bad pick.
Just brutal. I liked everything they were doing in that draft until they did that.
I was like, he'd be lucky to make it in the 6th round. And then he goes in the 3rd, and I was like, holy shit, this is insane. That and Drew Aller blew my dick off. I was like, I could not believe those two. Yeah. We had a lot of party poppers for those. All right, next category, more of an interesting category, is make or break for the Muskrats. This was an interesting one because, like, once again, we're kind of in this rebuild where we don't really have a lot of guys that have had much tenure on this team. But one guy that I'm interested to see where things land on with hopefully a fully healthy season is a Sam Laporta. You know, we had that that rookie year where, you know, he was in the dynasty top 1, top 2, top 3, you know, conversation, and then kind of took a step backwards in that year last year. Obviously had a lot of injuries, wasn't really targeted quite as much, wasn't used as much. Obviously still a very solid player. But where does that land for fantasy? Because we're getting closer to the contract being up soon in a couple of years. I think not this year, but the next year. So let's see where Sam Laporta fits in, especially with another new offensive coordinator. How does it look in year 3?
Boy, I just checked my redraft rankings. I'll let you know that I have Sam Laporta as tight end 6 this year. So didn't realize he was that high up there. So
that's pretty high.
I mean, he just got cleared to return, I think, like in the last couple of days. So
wow,
we'll see how it goes. I think because he had, was it back surgery? What was it?
I think it was like a back situation for sure. But I guess when I think about make or break, I'm thinking of a guy like, okay, like where's his dynasty value going to settle in? Is it going to be in that top tier, or is it going to be lower?
I believe he was the tight end 1 after his rookie year, was he not?
I mean, it was him and Bowers was a big talk at that time, obviously. And then McBride kind of shot onto the scene as well. And that was kind of the end of the Kelsey Kittle reign of terror, I guess, at the top 2. So the tight end community in Dynasty right now is kind of flipped a little bit for sure, with some of the older guys getting older. And then you got some of these new guys, but there's also some guys like kind of shoved in the middle that we don't really know what to do with quite yet, like a Laporta. Like, is Tucker Kraft going to have another good year off the injury? Like guys like that, where it's like, okay, like where do we land at those, you know, tight end, maybe like 4 to 7?
I mean, that's probably exactly where he lands. I think he's in a good offense, so he's going to produce. I think, I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't really have many questions about Sam Laporta because I just kind of have an idea of what he is to me at this point. But I understand it. Like, I just don't know. I don't think he's going to outdo any season that he's had already so far.
Yeah, do we reach his ceiling, I guess, already?
Yeah. To be fair, like, I just don't, like, because of the target competition on that team, I just don't see how that's possible unless, like, terrible things happen.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of, and even for like an Isaac TeSlaa, you know, it's like how much room does he have to, you know, keep taking steps up? Can the offense support, you know, 5 guys? Like, I don't think so right now, at least.
Yeah,
who's your make or break?
So my 2 were Cam Ward, because
good one.
I mean, obviously, like, it's just coming into year 2, like, it makes sense, but I feel like we talked about Cam Ward enough. My other guy was Elijah Arroyo.
I was considering him. I was definitely considering him.
They spent draft capital on him.
They sure
Obviously,
did.
I famously poo-pooed him last year after the draft when we were talking about rookies, but they still spent capital on him. Like, there are expectations for him to produce.
Yeah, they can't just do nothing.
For this team, like, there's not like a clear cut, like like hierarchy after JSN on this team. So there's
Mhm.
no reason somebody couldn't like earn target share on this team. And that's really what I'm talking about in this one. Like, can he improve? Can he like earn more target share into this year? That's kind
Yeah,
of what
because
it's all about.
I mean, if he doesn't take that next step, we could be looking at like a Ben Sinnott situation here, where it's like sometimes these guys just don't, like, especially the tight ends, like these second, third round tight ends, they just don't make those jumps, and then you're looking at nothing, in a
Mhm.
year from now. Or you could be looking at a guy. It's like, oh, it's finally clicking, and he's got the athletic talent for sure. Like you said, like I don't feel like there's a very clear secondary option on this team, because like we talked about Shaheed, kind of more of like a limited field stretching type. Cooper Kupp's gotten a lot older and slower. Outside of that, there's, I mean, Torrey Horton, who we all love, but like who is going to emerge out of that group as like more of that secondary option for targets? So it's a good call on that one. All right, and that leads us to our last category here, which is the X factor. You want to go first on that one?
I only put one person down. It's Luther Burden.
Yeah, I mean, he was my choice as well. My secondary option was Parker Washington,
Sure.
because if he ends up, on the same trajectory where he's going up and getting more target share and ends up with 1,000 yards or something like that, like then we're talking about a guy that, he's 25, I think. He's firmly in the rebuild discussion if he wants to keep him, or he can move off him for an asset or something. But Burton is the big question mark here for sure.
I mean, he paid for him, or like he drafted him, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" when he took him in the
Yeah,
draft.
I mean, it was the place in which he drafted him, and then of course what he gave up to get him. This is the X factor of all X factors. I don't think there is a better X factor, because this has to work. Otherwise, we've botched this pretty bad. So, but he's definitely on the trend up as of the end of last year. Him and Loveland both look really good at the end of the year. So I mean, the Bears offense looks pretty damn fucking good, dude. they have a lot of good players. So
I love how clean the like just statting out the passing game for this team is, because it just like two receivers, a tight end, and a little bit of running back sprinkled in. Like this
yeah,
makes sense. It all makes sense.
there's no like third guy that you're like, oh, what is this guy gonna do? It's like, nope, it's
Mhm.
just this. This is it. This is what you got. So,
I think I have all three of like the two receivers in Loveland. I think I have them all three at like 1,000 yards or higher
and
this
it
year.
makes sense because there's not. I mean, I guess last year they had that like Zacchaeus role, I guess, that sprinkled
Mhm.
in whatever 500 yards or something. But they're very, like you said, very clean and easy to figure out like who the top guys are on that team. So
I will say I think because the trend like after last year might be like more 13 personnel. I don't think there's a better team in the NFL that could roll out 13 personnel than the Bears this year. So
no, dude, like I mean, Komet is no slouch as the
no,
secondary tight end, great blocker, can actually do stuff in the passing game. Loveland's freaking awesome. I mean,
and
Monungai is that second back too, is a
they
great
drafted
bruiser.
they drafted Sam Roush, who is a good blocking tight
Roush is
end.
also an excellent blocker. Who knows if he can do anything in the passing game, but who
So
cares anyway?
13 personnel out with Rome and his size as a receiver
Mm-hmm.
too. That's such bully ball.
Yeah, they're a team that, like, I used to hate watching the Bears. Like when they were on prime time or something, like I don't want to watch this shit. And then like now it's like I just must watch television at this point. So
Mhm.
definitely changed quickly. And honestly, like kind of the same thing for like the Raiders. Like the Raiders kind of were like an afterthought in terms of like, oh, I got to watch the Raiders on a Monday night or a Thursday night. Like now I want to watch the Raiders. Like they're exciting. So things have changed a lot in the last couple of years with like who the teams to watch are, I guess. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for our first team review episode. We got through 4 teams today. So we'll probably do at least 1 or 2 more of these to chunk out the other 2 teams or the other 6 teams here. So good to be back on the podcast. Good to be talking about real football, which is exciting. We'll probably do another one of these next week to kind of keep the train rolling here. Hopefully have some camp updates, things like that. We also, I believe, next Thursday have our first preseason game. It's the Hall of Fame game on the 6th, I think. So
Mhm.
that came up pretty quick as well. So we should have quite a bit to talk about in the next couple of weeks for sure. So we'll try to keep it on Wednesdays, and we'll do at least one more of these, maybe two, and we will be getting ready for the season. So until then, we will see you next time on the PHU Dynasty Podcast.